Hello there, welcome to the channel, Loving Life on Less. My name is Liz, and today's video is called Extreme Frugality from Times Gone By, Pioneer Living. The pioneers were the first people to settle in the frontiers of North America. Many of the pioneers were farmers, others moved west, wanting to establish a business. They were doctors, shop owners, lawyers, ministers, blacksmiths, and vets, all made the 2,000-mile journey to take advantage of the United States government's offer to homestead the land. This meant travelling, taking all your possessions with you, with horse and carriage, and making the long journey all the way to these promised lands. Once settled on the frontiers of America, everything about life was going to rely on your capabilities of being self-sufficient. From starting to build a home, to creating a town, to creating networks, to sorting trades with other towns and other cities. But first of all, the home had to be created, and that was down to building the homestead. Homesteads had no running water, no electricity, and no indoor plumbing. This video is actually inspired by the birthday gift I received, which was a set of books by Laura Ingalls Wilder, which is a collection of semi-autobiographical stories of her childhood living in the very rural and very rustic pioneer era. They are wonderful stories, and I recommend anybody that likes to read a little bit of social history, as well as looking at how skilled and how adaptable people truly can be in difficult circumstances and thrive. It's a fantastic collection of books. But let's have a little look now at pioneer living. It wasn't optional. Pioneers had to be skilled, inventive, and resourceful. First of all, building the homestead was really important, that the land was also attended to, because food would be required very quickly. Also, somewhere close by where water could be taken from. So homesteads would be chosen to be either near rivers or near where hand-dug wells could be created, which was a very long and arduous job, but essential. Without water, there's no life. Transport was also essential to the pioneers, from travel to the heavy labour of farming, so a very important skill was being a blacksmith. Not only could he shod your horses, he could also fix your carts, fix guns, fix farming equipment, fix cooking implements, fix fishing and hunting equipment, and of course your firearms, your muskets, he could also repair those. So many men turned to becoming semi-skilled in ironwork, as self-sufficiency was vital. For timber building, which would have been the wooden homes, an axe was a vital tool for chopping wood, and also a large saw. Excess wood would be used for the fire, for heating the home, and for cooking. Of course, there was no access to any type of electric or gas fire. Their homes were wood cabins based around the heart or the hearth of the home, which is the fire, and this was used for heating and eating, the two main priorities within the home. On the frontiers, winters were harsh and long, so heat was an absolute lifesaver. Often being skilled joiners, the pioneers would use wooden pegs to hold wood together rather than using nails. And the homes would be designed with an attic at the top for sleeping in. Of course, heat rises. The kitchen was in front of the fire, so food could easily be transported to the big cooking pot from the table. And rising from the fire, of course, was a chimney, allowing the smoke to ease upwards and outwards of the home. Lighting was candles. No electricity, so candles were made from beeswax or tallow. And the toilets and the bathrooms were very rudimentary. These were just holes dug outside, very often just slit trenches. And these had to be away from the home. This was to avoid the stench coming into the property, but also to avoid wild animals attacking the home. If a wild animal, say such as a bear, could smell those human presence, they may be very interested in finding themselves a human snack. For the humans, hunting was the main meat source. At times, when things were hard, even foxes and muskrats would be eaten if they were caught. but more often than not, it was wild hog, deer, and even occasionally bear meat. Laura Ingalls Wilder states in her book that when her father caught a bear, the meat was an absolute treat. Farming, of course, quickly sprung up, with there being pigs, goats, chickens, and even the odd cow to supply the family home with food. To ensure they had enough food throughout the harsh winters, preservation was vital. This included salting, pickling, brining, dry storing veggies in the root cellars, and smirking. A lot of meat was made into what we count as jerky today and put in a smirker, homemade from a hollowed out tree stump with a door at the bottom to set the fire and a little chimney at the top where you could hang your meat to smoke over a period of time. The men would also be skilled in knot tying. This was really important to be able to secure wood, make winches and pulleys, and of course create fishing nets by hand. The woman's role was just as vital. There were skilled seamstresses and weavers creating fabrics for clothes and fabrics for around the home. As well as rearing the children and teaching the children all she knew, the wife would also be cooking, preparing meals, cleaning the home, and tending to the veggie garden to make sure there was plenty of vegetables the year through. Another important skill was foraging, as foraging foods added extra food to the store cupboards, as well as finding herbs for medicines and also to flavour foods. Of course, foraging has its dangers if you potentially identify a plant wrong. So this information again was passed down to your children of what was safe to collect, why it was collected, and what it was used for. Mint was popularly grown to use as a tea, but there was also coffee available, but it was a very rudimentary coffee. The coffee beans were roasted, ground down very roughly, and then your gritty beverage would be boiled for a period of time and drank. It was very much called cowboy coffee, very strong, very black, and probably used for the very strong caffeine elements it would have to give a lift during such hard living. For cleanliness, soap for washing and cleaning was made from animal fats, potash, which is wood ash, and lye. Men would also make their own alcohol, and this would be used for celebration or barter. The children would help Mom around the home. They would do all the jobs that she did and aid her in the daily chores, which were long, from getting up to bedtime. When the sons got to a certain age, they would be out helping their father, tend to the fields, go hunting, learn how to fish, and learn how to build. All skills were passed on so children could grow to be as self-sufficient as possible, if required, as mature adults. A little interesting story in the first book by Laura Ingalls Wilder, Little House in the Big Woods, is when she was a little girl and she is playing in the loft with her big sister. And they loved playing in the loft. In winter, it was the warmest place to be. It was tucked away a little bit like a hidey hole. There was no chores being done at this period of time, and they could create their own magical world. Laura talks how they are playing with dolls and getting the dolls ready for bed. Her sister has a beautifully handmade rag doll, probably made by Ma. But there was only enough rags and materials to make one doll. So Laura has an old corn cob, which has been used, and it's just a corn cob, wrapped in a handkerchief. And she is nursing this little corn on the cob like it's a little doll. And there is no mention, as Laura Ingalls Wilder writes this, that they feel poor, that they feel like they haven't anything. Every single day is seen as learning, playing, letting their imaginations run wild in the woods that surround the home. And in winter, when the snow is up to the base of the windows, the children have to stay within inside the home to play. They still find things to do. As there were no machines to make life so much easier, the mum of the house would have set chores on each day to do to make sure everything was done throughout the week to make the house run as smoothly as possible. In Laura Ingalls' book, she says, Ma began the work that belonged to each day, and every single day had its own proper work. Ma used to say, wash on Monday, iron on Tuesday, mend on Wednesday, churn on Thursday, clean on Friday, bake on Saturday, and rest on Sunday. And as today is Sunday, I'm going to let my voice have a little rest. I'm going to have a nice cup of tea. I'm going to say thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video today. We'll be back again soon with another video. If you like our content, please like, please subscribe, and we'll see you again really soon. Wherever you are in this world, we hope you have a lovely day. Bye for now.